What's good, y'all? Welcome back to another video. I didn't rehearse my lines.
Like usual.
Today we're going to be answering TMI questions. I don't know if any of you follow VNA on Instagram, but if you do, you saw that she posted a thing saying to ask any questions that you might have for us regarding marriage or anything else. TMI.
Are you wearing your ring? I'm also not wearing my ring.
We're not married today, I guess.
Kind of ironic. This is about marriage, but you guys already know we're married.
If this is your first time watching one of our videos, hello, it's nice to meet you. I'm Felipe, and this is my beautiful wife, VNA. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, please and thank you. Turn on post notifications and smash the like button. Let's answer some questions. We got some wine, set the mood.
Do things change when you get married?
Absolutely, they do.
Yeah, a lot of things change. Not anything bad, at least in our situation, but I feel like in other cases it might. I think it's more like adjusting is a thing. Not so much like you have to change how to do things.
Adjusting to what?
Well, because now you're living with another person and you're married, so it's like certain things that you might do alone and just like how you live aren't necessarily going to be the same way that the other person lives and how they like things.
Yeah, I would say that a difference from being alone to then living with her would be like, actually, now that I think about it, there's not a lot of things that I do different from when I was living
that's what
alone.
I'm saying. Like with us personally, there wasn't really too much to change or adjust to. There are definitely things that you do have to learn how to do with the other person. Like just living with each other in general. Like one person might be very messy, the other person might be very clean.
I think I'm fairly neat.
Yeah. Like for us, there's not really much to talk about on that.
Yeah, I don't know. When I used to live alone, like in my dorm room, or well, that was really the only time I lived alone.
I think what changes is like routine.
Like how?
When you get married, you have to have some kind of routine. We do the same thing every day when it like comes to work days. Like we get up at a certain time. We do the same thing.
That's what a routine entails, yes.
So that's what I'm talking about. Your routine's different.
My routine honestly did not change. I would get up at pretty much the same time. I would chill out for a little bit before I go to shower. After I shower, I hang out some more. And then I go to work. That's pretty much what I do, but now you're just here.
Well, we're not that interesting. I think in other situations, like I mentioned, like depending how the other person lives and how they like certain things done, maybe like cleaning wise or even just like small little stuff. Do you want your bathroom to look, or how often you want the dishes and laundry done? Stuff like that is things you have to get used to. Yeah,
I would say generally for a single guy, you probably spend a lot of your time like on the game, going out, with your boys and shit. But, when you get married, you kind of have to cut back on some of those things. Not completely. I mean, you can still hang out with your boys. Sometimes you can even bring, your girl, have the other girls come along. As far as the game goes, I've never been like a video game type. Back in middle school and high school, yeah, but towards the end of high school, I don't know, I kind of grew out of that shit, and I don't really play now. I might buy like my PS Plus pass for like a month for $10 just because I feel like I'm due for some gaming, but I'm not a big gamer. I mostly like to just kind of be in the house and watch movies, TV, and occasionally, go out, play some basketball. Now that the summer's coming, I want to get back into skateboarding a little bit. Personally, for me and us, I don't think much of our routine or lifestyle changed. Generally speaking, when you initially start dating a person or when you're in those beginning stages, you're kind of doing your own thing, but you're incorporating, not implementing. You're incorporating, the girl or the boy in your life, to kind of fit in with the things that you do. When we started dating, we immediately, like within 24 hours, we're already long distance. So I don't know, there wasn't really much incorporating for us to do. And then we went from long distance to like living together, married. There wasn't that time to like have to blend it in. You just kind of did it. And for us, it really came naturally because, like we said, we don't do much individually that there is to put to the side for the other person or stuff like that. Our individual lifestyles kind of blended in really well. Luckily for us, there wasn't much of a change. It's just that the other person is now happening to be there. As far as the actual relationship goes, things definitely change. Absolutely. I mean, when we first started dating, it's fun at first. Well, not to say it's not fun now, but like
it's kind of like the honeymoon stage, but like living together not like the honeymoon phase of dating. Like now you're in a home together, you're with another person.
Yeah, when you first start dating, you don't take things as seriously. You know, you're in the beginning stages, like she said, honeymoon phase. So everything's fun, everything's hunky dory. You know, as you progress throughout the relationship and then you get into a marriage, things get not more complicated, but you start to take things more seriously, especially with life in general, finances and bills, work, stuff like that. So things as far as that definitely do change. You know, not that you lose certain aspects, but you kind of grow out of certain parts of your relationship, especially from the honeymoon phase. I mean, for us, I wouldn't say much has changed. I mean, we still remain best friends to this day. The daily life is not all that complicated. So, you know, we're having fun, us personally. And I would say that it should go the same way for most other people as well.
I think this question kind of goes into what the next question is. How often do you have arguments? Right now, we don't.
Almost never.
Going back to that first question, when you're living together for the first time, you might tend to butt heads a little more often in the beginning. Obviously, like the first few months that you're living with somebody else, at that point, it's just kind of like you're excited to be sharing that kind of thing with the other person. But then that's when being around each other a lot more might cause certain stuff. I think for us, it was more because we came directly out of a long distance thing. So that's more like when the arguments kind of started happening. Like when we first started living together, we definitely had a lot more going on between each other.
I mean, after you skip the initial honeymoon phase in a relationship, then comes the argument phase where that lasts for however long. I think it's a case-to-case kind of thing with that. We got through our argument phase, long distance, which was tough as hell. You know, when she got here, I like to think our initial like rough patch when she first got here to her personal stresses of getting married and moving across the world basically from Florida to Alaska. So her personally, I think there was a lot of stresses that I knew about because obviously I experienced those things myself. Like we didn't hate each other for real reasons. It wasn't anything crazy. We were just trying to get used to the idea that this is the life now. You know, she kind of had to get used to that.
I think it was also because mentally I wasn't where I am now back then as well. Like even though I had got over certain like trust issues or the whole toxic stuff that I had went through in the beginning, I think moving in, like you said, just like all the stress on top of how I used to think before also kind of came back. Because when we were in long distance, like I was slowly getting over that kind of stuff towards the end. But then once I moved, it kind of like kicked back in again. I don't know if you'd say the same, but there were definitely like arguments that kind of started because of that kind of stuff. So it was kind of somewhat like starting over, but it wasn't like bad. It really was only for probably the first, I would say like 3 months that we started living together. And then after that, definitely right before the end of the year is where all of that kind of stopped. And then since then...
I was going to say it only lasted for like a month or two because it really wasn't that long. And it was mostly because I kept telling her, one of our initial issues when she moved here was that I had a gym schedule of going after work. And she didn't want to go to the gym because, like I said, the stresses of her moving across the country, leaving family and friends, like... I think all of Anchorage is getting arrested. She didn't want to go to the gym. In her mind, she kind of... she's with me, obviously, but in a way, she kind of felt alone because she had nobody else but me. Her not wanting to go to the gym and me going to the gym, she kind of got into this whole thing that, like, oh, I want to go to the gym, and I don't want to be at home with her, and, like, she was having issues, like, with me going to the gym in general. She just didn't like the fact of us being apart more than we needed to be. But I kept saying, like, well, maybe if you would go to the gym with me, we would have a little bit more time to spend together because, you know, we can work out together and do stuff like that. And she's like, nope, no, I don't want to, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm a very upfront person, so I put it to her like this. I'm going to go to the gym. I invited you to go with me, but you didn't want to go. So this frustration, keep it to yourself, honestly, because I don't see the point in her taking it out on me. Now, obviously, I should listen to her and be considerate of her feelings. I know that there's more to it, but taking it for what it is, I was trying to diffuse the situation because it was total bullshit. Like, why are you getting mad at me for being at the gym? I knew what the problem was for real, but she's taking it out on me going to the gym. And I was just like, if you're going to be mad about the gym, keep it to yourself. If you want to talk about real, actual problems like, hey, I feel alone. I just moved away from family and friends. We can talk about that, but not being mad at the gym. Eventually, she got over it. She ended up going to the gym with me, and things were good ever since, honestly. Once she started going to the gym is when things calmed down, because I told her multiple times, going to the gym, you're getting in shape. More than anything, it's for your mental health. It will help you. And surely it did, because after she started going to the gym, all her problems died down. And we've pretty much maybe argued, I'd say, no more than 5 times since. I can definitely count on my hands how many times we've had an argument since then, and it's not many.
I don't even know if I would even say 5 times, because I wouldn't say they're arguments. Like, it's more just disagreeing about certain stuff.
As of right now, we don't have arguments very often at all. We're fairly peaceful. We like each other. I mean, everybody goes through their phases. So, that's just stuff that you have to navigate with your partner. As long as you work at it, you're clear with each other, which I like to be as clear as possible with her, because she can be a little hard-headed sometimes. I can be too, but, again, you just got to navigate that kind of stuff. Work at it, be clear, communicate, trust the other person, and you will be just fine.
Next question. How do you fix your differences?
By the time you got here, I was hoping that we had come to an agreement on how to resolve things.
Like during the time that we were long distance, like, we did have a conversation about, like, this is how things need to go, and that's how it's going to be, and that's it. And then
yeah, but when you got here...
but it kind of started all over once I actually moved here.
Yeah. Because, it's just different. Like, doing things over the phone is just way different than in person. Because in person, you can actually tell body language, tone of voice. You're really there, and you can really feel the moment when you're in person. So, yeah, we did kind of have to start over when she got here. As of right now, how we solve our problems is fairly simple. I like to keep it as simple as possible. You let the other person know what's going on. They respond. And you kind of go from there.
If you guys haven't watched other videos or just never noticed, he's just not like a person to argue at all.
I hate arguing.
He's the most like calm person. Even if like we are arguing, or if like I'm kind of in more of a tone of arguing, he's still just kind of there.
Yeah, I hate arguing so much. My parents used to do a lot of it growing up. So as a child, I decided, hey, whenever I get into these situations, I'm going to refrain from the screaming and the tossing of things and hitting each other and stuff like that. So whenever things do come up, it can be the most heated shit of all time, and like I will still
I think I've
keep my cool.
Only like really made him mad like twice since we've been together. Honestly can't remember what, but I know for sure one time that it happened, because you verbally told me like it doesn't take much to piss me off, but you've pissed me off.
Yeah, I don't get like raging mad very often or ever at all. I'm just not that kind of person. I try my hardest to keep my cool. I might raise my voice here and there, but only if the other person does it first, which she usually does that first.
Actually, it was 2 times. It was once during long distance and once here.
I don't know. I can't remember. I mean, at this point, when you go through arguments after the fact, you look back on it and like, what the fuck was that even about? I don't even know what she's talking about.
I don't remember the first time. The second time was the argument in the room when I was really losing my shit and you almost left.
I don't know what you're talking about.
How do you not know what I'm talking about? That was like the worst argument we've ever had. It was at some point when we went to Cooley's house and we came back really late.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Because that was actual screaming and stuff at like 3 a.m.
Yeah, that was stupid. I can't feel like I can give super intricate advice on how to navigate problems or how we do it personally, because like I said, I love to keep it as simple as possible. If you see that the other person is frustrated, hey, what's going on? Usually it'll go one of 2 ways, obviously. They tell you or they don't. If they tell you, great. Go from there, talk about it, resolve the problem. Like I said in the last question, be clear, communicate, trust the other person, make it a safe environment for you guys to talk. But if they say nothing, which she likes to play that game at times, my reaction also goes one of 2 ways. I either keep asking because I hate having something unsolved, so I'm usually the person to kind of nag, but she's let me know that that's not the way that she does it, or that she wants me to react, so I try to refrain from nagging. The other way I react is if she wants to play the nothing game, which as I like to call it. At this point, I just kind of give up. She doesn't want me to keep nagging, so I'm not going to keep nagging. So if she says nothing, that's where I kind of let her know, well, since you want to play the nothing game and you told me nothing is wrong, I don't want to hear shit. But then that's where she gets even more of an attitude and things go even more wrong. That's when I kind of turn it back on her like, hey, well, when I asked you what's wrong and you said nothing, what was that about? And then that's where she kind of looks stupid, and then eventually we just work it out. I like to keep it simple. Sometimes she likes to play the game, but I don't like playing the game, so I usually just kind of walk the other way. I leave the conversation because there's no point in me trying to fix something that she doesn't want to fix. That's why from the jump, I try to be, clear about stuff. And even if it takes you like 5 or 10 minutes to even say a word on what's wrong, just do it right then and there. There's no point in dragging it out, okay? If you make the problem worse than it has to be, then it's going to be worse than it has to be. Actually, we're watching The Office right now, and one of the latest episodes that we just watched was some advice that Michael Scott gave to Dwight. It's in reference to sales in the show, but this actually applies here. The acronym KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. So do that. Keep it simple. Next question.
You sleep naked.
Yes. God, yes. When we first started dating, I told her like, hey, whenever we live together, I will be naked a lot because I like being naked. It's more comfortable. It's nice and fresh. You get a nice breeze down there. Like, it's a good time. And especially when you're sleeping alone, yeah, it's comfortable. But with the other person, I don't know what it is, but I adore the feeling of, skin on skin contact. I love the intimacy of it. I almost feel like it really brings us closer together.
Not even in like a weird way either. Like just
no, it's
there's
just
something about
yeah.
it.
There's just something about it. It brings you closer to the other person, and it's amazing. I recommend it to you if you don't do it already. Whether you're single or in a relationship, sleep naked, especially when you're in a relationship. If you do it now, then I feel like you know what I'm talking about. The intimacy of it is fucking amazing. Like I said, it really brings you and your partner closer together. I genuinely feel like it does.
I was really against, or like I just never did it back home because I just thought that was weird that you're just out there booty naked.
I've been sleeping naked since middle school, man. It's just better. Take off your clothes, especially because like when you're wearing pajamas or some shit at night, I bet like at least 65% of you get hot in the middle of the night. Then you start sweating and shit. Now you got sweaty, disgusting clothes. Like, just let it all out, man. It's more fresh, nice and fresh. Sleep naked. I'm Felipe, and I approve this message.
The last question of the night is from my mother. She was wondering when she's gonna have a grandchild.
Keep dreaming, Uni.
Honestly, like 2 years probably.
Oh, I mean, I guess we did discuss
We
that.
did have this conversation, which you keep saying that we never have the conversation. But now at this point, we've had it like 3 times. At first, I was really saying like I wouldn't want to have the baby until I wouldn't want to have it until after he was out. But we changed our minds on that. So that way the military can pay for it.
Yeah, we did talk about that. I'm pretty sure the last time we talked about it was at Texas Roadhouse, and we kind of came to the agreement that financially it's definitely the smartest thing to have a baby while I'm in the military, because at least unlike most people in the world, we won't have a hospital bill to take care of. Yeah, that's probably the smartest thing. As of right now, we're probably looking at somewhere in 2026, which
Hopefully. That's for a planned one.
yeah. It'll be in 2026. And depending on how my extension here goes, it might be a little bit after that. But not anytime super soon.
Somewhat soon.
In the vast future. I don't know. I keep feeling like it's far away, but now that I think about it, that's just 3 years away. Barely 3, but still.
Because ideally, like, I'd want to have it, like, baby out in like 2 years. But that means, obviously, sometime before that it has to happen.
Are we even gonna be ready to be
mean?
parents by then? It's like really soon.
What do you mean?
Oh,
It's not that soon.
Oh god.
I don't want to be old parents. So honestly, this isn't like even let's have a baby so that way it can be paid for. This is just like ideally when I really actually wanted to have a kid.
Yeah, she's always talked about wanting to have a kid younger. And like I'm cool with that. That's just stuff I'm gonna have to mentally prepare for, like.
But it's like at that point we're like 23, 24. Like I don't really see that as a bad time. Maybe for other people, but like The only thing that we said we wanted to do was like traveling. We also agreed that we'd probably do most of it traveling a little bit after he got out as like a hooray you did it / vacation kind of thing. So in about 2 years.
I'm gonna have to start mentally preparing for that now then, I guess. I thought that was a lot farther than it was. It's not that far away in the grand scheme of things.
We've had this conversation multiple times. So
Well,
this
yeah.
isn't like the first time that I'm springing it on him about having a child in 2 years.
No, I know. It's just that before I didn't think about how actually not far that is.
Yeah.
Because before when we would talk about it, I'd be like, oh, that's like so far down the road. But it's not actually that far down the road. Well, shit. Gonna have to get that bank account ready. Well, I guess that's all our questions.
For now. We can probably do another video, depending how this one turns out.
Well, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. And if you're new and you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. Also turn on post notifications. We will see you guys next time. Bye.